guys. They say when it rains, it pours. And it is pouring rain on Station 19. I mean, it's pouring love rain. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Guys, welcome back to our Station 19 AfterBuzz After Show. I'm one of your hosts, Linda Antwi, and we have a new addition, like a new baby, a new child. He's not a child, he's not a baby. Joshua, welcome to our panel.
What's up? How y'all doing?
I heard some fun facts about you. So Joshua is a fashion stylist, and is an East Coaster, kind of East Coast. Did they say that?
Yeah,
the Canadian is saying.
Yeah, from Atlanta.
Yes, I want to go to Atlanta, where he's from.
Yeah.
But welcome.
Thank you for having me.
What brought you to Shondaland?
I am a long fan of Shonda Rhimes, especially with How to Get Away with Murder. So I've been following Station 19, and I wanted to get on and talk to you all about it.
Awesome. And of course, my lovely favorite, Day One.
Yeah, we've got a new recruit, but we won't be so hard on you tonight. We'll take it easy.
All
Hi,
right.
everyone.
This is the family. And you guys, before I get started, I need to shout out our live chat. This live chat has been waiting, and I just want to say hi to Chloe, who's in the UK, who stayed up all night just to watch our show. Hi, Chloe.
Yes, what's up?
And everyone else, we love you too, and we'll shout you out in a little bit. We have some fun fire facts as usual. And we want you to know whose hand is it anyways. Is that cryptic? Stay tuned to find out. Guys, overall thoughts?
I thought this episode was good. It was, we see a lot of love blooming, like you said, of rain and love falling down. It was just interesting to see how things are progressing. Goodbyes are hard for me, and letting things go are hard for me. So to see these characters able to do that, especially Andy, I was very impressed.
Yeah, we'll talk about Andy later.
I think that Andy is growing. Piggybacking off what you said, Andy has grown a lot. She's finally starting to mature past her love triangle with Jack and Ryan. But I'm not.
so?
I think so. I feel like the awkwardness from last week when she stumbled upon him coming out of the club with another lady really woke her up and realized that, hey, he either wants something serious or he's moving on. And since I'm not ready to do that, it's time for me to grow up.
Wow. I don't see that at all.
Okay.
At all. But I respect it. I loved this episode. I think I just love love, and I'm so hopeful when shows actually have couples coming together, because it never ever works out. Something always happens. So I loved everything about this episode. I want to even say that of all the seasons so far, the 12 episodes, this is my favorite episode.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right? I know.
Very interesting.
Let's jump right in. So I wanted to talk about Andy, Jenna, and Ryan from the jump.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on that whole new love triangle and Ryan specifically and how he handled that situation? The opening scene.
I was surprised to see Jenna back. I thought she was going to be like a one-hit wonder, just a rebound. So to see that she was back, and to be surprised that she was not just any old girl, but a coworker. But I guess, Ryan is a very busy man. He's either around police officers or fire people. So his options are limited, but and then this Jenna, she was aggressive. She was like, "I'm taking you out on a date, and you better be ready." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I like how aggressive she is. She's very direct. She says what she says what she means, and so there's no playing around. Which, unlike Andy, it kind of wavers. So I think that's refreshing for him. And it was interesting to see how the fact that he wanted to become an EMT. You see how when you meet someone new, they spark something in you, and you're like, "Huh, this could be," you just start thinking about different things, even though he had heard it from Andy time and time prior. So,
What are your thoughts?
Jenna, I'm not keen on Jenna. I think that Jenna has come in. You've had one date, and you're putting yourself out there this aggressively with a gentleman who is not really serious just yet. I think she's laying too much on the table. As far as Ryan is more so still in tune with Andy. But that's referring to what I said earlier. Andy is not ready to move on. She's not ready to be serious with anyone. I remember a few episodes ago, she said that she's, in a sense, she's married to the job. Her family is Station 19. And I think that's dangerous for someone who has this type of job that's demanding on their lives.
right.
First I'm going to say, so you guys know that throughout season 1 and 2, I always say, why is it that Ryan's the only SPD like by himself? But now it's Ryan and Jenna are the only two SPD, and then they happen to be dating. Awesome. I think that Ryan actually is going to really like this girl, and I think that he needs someone that's a little bossy, because Andy is bossy in her own right, but Andy's also really selfish and self-absorbed. So I think the reason, like you said, when Jenna mentioned EMT training, that he heard it, it's because, like you said, not only is it new, but he actually likes her. Because we talked about the comfy blanket, and that really stuck to me. And I think that he is the comfy blanket, but I think they're the comfy blanket for each other. So you know how you're like best friend, or you've been in a long-term relationship, and they say the same thing 1,000 times to you, and you've heard it, but you're not really hearing it.
Right.
I think that's that situation. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
we'll
it looks
find
like
out.
Jenna's here to stay for at least a little bit. Because, you know, if she's here and she's his coworker and they introduced her by name, then she's here to stay for a bit, unless they, you know.
Unless it gets really awkward.
Wait,
I mean,
did you say unless they kill her off?
Yes, I did. But I didn't want to say that, so I was like, if you're listening to the podcast, I did, you know, cross the neck thing. It's very Game of Thrones. Wrong show. Okay, let's talk about Dean and his dates.
Yes.
So what did you guys think of, so he had 3 dates that they showed, and he was trying to be open to it, but I also think he had his own motives of just showing up.
Of
So
course.
what did you think of that whole situation?
Well, I think my invitations for my date with Dean got lost in the mail, so
Oh, yeah.
that was a little disappointing for me. But did you guys feel like he was being a little cocky on these dates? Like he was super proud of being a fireman, and he thought that they would be impressed by this, but they actually were not. Like,
Yes.
did you sense some
I
cockiness?
don't think he
from
was
him?
being cocky.
No.
No, I just think he's very sure of what he's doing.
Confidence. That's what we'll say.
Yeah, confidence is a better word.
Okay, so he was very confident. He was actually proud of his job.
Right.
So the fact that he went on 3 dates with 3 different women that all shut him down and they were not impressed, I think that made it a little difficult for him. But I wish there was a little bit more variety in the personalities that he went on the dates with. It
Oh,
seemed
yeah.
like that they all had the same mindset, and maybe this is because his mother set him up with women that probably think just like she does.
That's exactly what it is.
So that's why they all were like, your mother is amazing. What is it like being her son? So I think the woman that Dean's going to end up with is going to be the polar opposite of his mom, I think.
Of course. He would have it no other way.
Absolutely.
For me, yeah, Dean is confident about what he does.
Right.
He seems like someone who made a decision where at the beginning he said he was being rebellious. You know, so it was out of, you know, I'm going to show my parents my way is better. But now he's figuring out that he really does love being a
He
fireman.
loves being a firefighter.
And for me, the 3 women he went on a date with, I noticed how they were attacking his character and attacking his stability as a fireman, but they never offered anything that they were doing. So they're pointing the hand, but they're not receiving anything back. Dean, to me, in my opinion, needs to stand up to his mother and let her know that she doesn't matter. At this point, he's 30 years old. It's time for him to stand on his own feet. It's time to say, hey, Mom, I love you to a point, but there comes a point where a man needs to be a man. And I feel like that's part of the conflict there.
Yeah, we're going to have this conversation after, because Tsahai and I talked about it last week, and I don't have time to get into true African families.
Right, of course. Yeah, it's different.
It's way different.
Yes, of course it
and
is.
You could be 100, and if you're still alive and your parents are still alive, they are the elders, and what they say goes. You just have to find your way around it.
Right. And it extends to the aunts and the uncles,
Girl.
the whole extended family.
Girl,
Everybody.
even your faux aunties and uncles.
Your play
If they
aunties.
saw you as a child and you grew up anywhere around them, they have authority. Anyways, moving on.
Thank you for the education.
Listen,
But what
it's
I'm
my
really-
life.
Yes, Linda's mom is setting her up on some dates.
All right.
Yes.
Well, get it.
Okay, so that's not true, Tsahai. Don't tell the world all that
apologize. I
nonsense.
apologize.
That's
We'll
not
call
true. You and I will talk after the show as well. Yeah, so let's talk about Pruitt and Realtor Reggie. I want to hashtag that because I think it's hilarious. I love them together. And in the show, when they talked about letting go of the past and trying something new, I find that Pruitt is doing it the best because he just sold his house. You know, he's out of the job that he's had for his entire life, and he bought an apartment. Now he's met this woman, and finally, you know, just like Andy said, she hasn't seen him with any other woman since her mom. And how long ago was that? So bravo for you for not just opening up to this woman and, you know, getting your groove on, but actually going on that trip to Hawaii. I was so impressed.
Amazing. I called it last week, so I mean,
Go
I
ahead,
thought.
do the thing.
Oh yes, thank you, thank you.
Yep, shoulder.
Now, I thought they were gonna. I thought they were gonna start slow with some coffee. No, we see them.
You're too mature for that.
I guess so.
I like your wording. I was going to say they are too old to waste time.
Well, you know, grown. I'll say grown or mature, like you said. But the fact that, you know, maybe we missed the coffee date stage, or maybe they felt like having looked for the homes and selling the home through that process, they got to know each other very well, which is true. It's kind of like when you get to know a coworker very well because you are in different situations with them all the time. So,
Yeah.
but to see homegirl in the T-shirt, I said, "Oh, is this what we doing, Pruitt? Okay." But I was happy to see him, and he is the changes that he's going through in his life he's moving full speed ahead. There's no hesitation, very little
what I just
hesitation.
said.
Yeah, so it's just great to see him doing.
I love
that.
it.
Yeah, I know with fashion, I'll reference, I know one way they say that women change their personalities or move on is changing their hair. In this situation, I would say that's tantamount to Pruitt. The way, as an older person, you move forward is changing your entire lifestyle.
Okay.
So he just basically 180'd. He sold the home, so every memory he had that made him comfortable, he got rid of.
I love it, though.
Yeah, so it forces him
Yeah,
into a
he has
relationship. And I'm just gonna be real. Reggie is kind of on point for me. Okay, she came in there. She's like, "Look here, bruh. I'm not sitting in your condo. We're going to Oregon. We're going to Hawaii." And I like that for him. He needs someone to
Yes.
rejuvenate
I
him.
agree, and I also think too, at that age, you should be able to know exactly what you want,
Of course.
and not waste time.
Yes.
Right. So I was impressed that she said that. I was impressed that he went, because that means the two of them are both embarking on what they want together, and they enjoy each other's company. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want.
So
true.
we have Ryan, who's having his new lady lead him in a sense, and then we have Pruitt, whose new lady's also leading him. So.
But you also have to remember that these two characters, which I think is absolutely true, but they also lead in their
Work
jobs and high stress jobs. So I could see how, you know, not having to make all the decisions
Yeah.
in their personal lives, I could see how that would work.
Well, it allows them that freedom. I know a lot of people where at work they're type A. And when they get home, they're like, "Look,
I'm done.
you run everything, please.
Yeah.
You take it. I need to relax," because they use that energy. So to have the offset is actually healthy. It allows their brains to relax.
Yeah, I also agree about Reggie. I like the fact that I thought she was going to be like, yes, and immediately agree with whatever he wanted. But she was like, no, I have my own plan, and this is what I want to do.
Right.
This is what's best for me. So that
Right.
was really nice to see.
Yeah, it was. Let's talk about Vic and Travis. So we see Vic, she's sick and she's sneezing on everybody. And oof, I was like, girl, you need to go home. 'Cause, ugh. When she sneezed on Travis, side
Yes.
note, if that was me, I would have been done. Because
Yeah.
you ever seen that video when someone sneezes and it shows you in
yeah.
slow motion? Yes. Death becomes you. So she's sick, but she's also talking about Ripley, and she's unsure of what to do. She has this T-shirt that she's talking about that she loves, and they just had the fight. Does she talk to him? Does she not talk to him? And she just talks Travis's ear off. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Travis has been the heir for everyone this episode, and he's always there for Vic. There's still a little bit of tension, I think, because he did spill the beans, and I think she is low-key blaming him for putting her in this situation with Ripley. But to see her sick and having to go home and her friends still be there for her, it was a nice moment, I think. Yeah,
It was.
I don't know. I like Vic. Vic actually is my favorite character.
Is she?
I will say that.
Interesting.
When I first started watching the show, she was my favorite. When she was going through her fire issues, I was so hurt for her. Travis, I was rooting for Travis, but I think Travis seems to be judgmental. I get that from him, that he's judgmental instead of, it's like he's judgmental initially, and then he turns it into support. And I don't like that. When you have someone who you consider a best friend,
Right.
I think you should listen before they ask you for your opinion, because a lot of times they're venting to you so they can get it off of their chest.
Yeah,
and then they want to know what
I
you
see what you're
think.
saying.
Yeah.
I see it in the Vic and Ripley situation because I think that he hasn't wrapped his mind around that being everyone's boss and that being his best friend and seeing the ranks. I think he hasn't wrapped it in his mind like how to deal with that. So I agree with you with that. We see Jack, Yemi, Dean, Andy, and Maya all hanging out in the firehouse, talking about basically love, because they were talking about Andy's dad, Pruitt, and catching him, but they were also talking about Dean's dates. So that's why I said this is almost like the love episode, because we saw a lot of it, and not just with those two, we saw it with Jack and Maya as well. So I think it's really going to be interesting to see what happens as we move forward and what couples last and what couples don't last.
Agreed. We also had, I'm sure we'll get to Josh and Emmanuel, you know, the fact
That's the incident.
Yeah, their love too. I noticed as I watched Josh and Emmanuel go through this situation. Station 19 often shows couples going through difficult situations together that help bring them together.
Yeah.
The couples outside of the station. So I always like to see that.
Let's talk about Sullivan and Andy. So Andy is doing busy work because that's what she does. I personally don't think that she has had any growth yet. I think that she's now starting to isolate herself because her friends are occupied. Maya's occupied with Jack, even though Andy doesn't know it's Jack. She's occupied. And then Ryan is now occupied with Jenna, right? So, and then Vic, oh my God, I'm a genius right now. And then Vic is occupied with Ripley. So her team, immediate team, they're all gone, right? So that's why she's doing busy work. But it's also making her and Sullivan closer. So Sullivan comes down. She confides in Sullivan about the whole dad thing. And I got to tell you guys, I know that this is not predictions, but these two are growing way too close really fast. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I think it's happening at a good pace. You have to remember they went through that traumatic situation together. So that sped things up right there. But what I just realized is what happened to Andy's PTSD? Is she just cured now? Remember when she was getting the award? It's like, is she better now? Are we not going to address that? It just seems like that just...
It was 4 months ago. I think that she
went away.
Yeah, I think she like cured herself while Jack.
I don't think she's cured it. I think she's just stuck it right here.
Put it in the back of her mind.
Yeah, it's gonna explode in the most inconvenient time. I think because she's not dealing with anything right now.
And the fact that she keeps on saying, like, Ryan's like pushing her away, and she just keeps on saying, "Okay."
Yeah,
I think
fine with that.
Yeah, she's gonna explode. I think.
Okay, well, for me, Captain Sullivan and Andy, I want to.
I like how he made sure.
Well,
Captain Sullivan.
I want to respond. ...
and Andy.
I want to respond to Andy when you stated that you don't think she's growing yet. I do think she's growing. I think this time of solitude is causing her to go through some self-awareness. Notice how she called her father and said, "You know what, Dad? Whatever makes you happy is what's best." That tells me there is some growth there. It may be a slower type of growth, but I think there's some growth there. And also her narration at the end when she says, "Get rid of the past." And then she paints over Tanner and hers heights. So that kind of tells me there's some growth there. Like she's willing to submit to what the future holds. As far as Sullivan and Andy, I mean, if y'all didn't peep that from the beginning...
You're saying you peeped that as soon as he walked on?
No, like when he came on and Pruitt met him and said, "You need to find out who the glue is that holds this team together." The time when he called her in the office and invited her out for coffee, and she was like, "What, bruh?" That's when I was like, they're bound to get close. They have to get close because Sullivan, the reason he's lightening up is because of the conversation he had with Andy at the truck.
That's true.
But I think Andy's growth isn't like her taking a moment to herself and deciding to have this growth. I think she's seeing everybody else move along.
And she's forced to.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so that's
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of fair points, let's talk about our fair and amazing network.
Yes, so I would just like everyone to know that we are very happy that you have made us the ESPN of TV Talk. If you're on YouTube, we need you to subscribe. We need you to comment. Let us know how we're doing. If you're on iTunes, give us a thumbs up. let us know by giving us some stars. Tell your friends and your enemies that we're here. We're very happy to be a part of AfterBuzz. We love everything that we're doing here, and we need you to help us to continue to grow. So as long as you're letting people know where we are, how to find us, how to watch us, how to listen to us, we'll be here just for you. And follow us on all of our other shows as well.
I love that. Yes. Yes. Do we want to shout out some of our
folks from last week? Yes, we had Crystal Sims, Tia Diaz, Tony Robinson, Audrey O, and of course Gemini 3 in our comments last
I love
week.
Gemini 3.
Yes, I'm a fellow Gemini, so we appreciate
Ditto.
all your support. You Gemini?
No, ma'am.
Oh, don't say it like that.
I'm a Scorpio.
No, just joking. But thank you guys for your support. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share the show. And hit us up in the comments this week as well.
And then again to the live chat. I just have to say that you guys are amazing. Like, so amazing. Chloe has a couple name already for Vic and Ripley.
Oh.
And I'm gonna have to hashtag to this too. Vickley.
I like that.
I love it.
I like that a
Vickley.
lot.
Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing, Chloe. It's excellent. Let's move on to Ryan and Ben. So Ryan comes to see Ben, wants to do this whole EMT thing, and we see Ben almost in a frenzied state, right?
Yeah.
Because he was late for work 5 minutes, and he's like, no, I don't have time, go talk to Andy, which I thought was interesting that he didn't go to Andy first, because he knows that whatever they have going on right now, it's not clear, and it might be messy. So let me just go somewhere else.
Right.
Because if that's your person from life, then why are you not going to her unless you know something's not quite
That's
right?
true.
What do you guys think?
Did you notice also that Maya's not going to Andy and Andy's not like Maya and Andy aren't talking to each other. They're all everyone's talking to everyone's not talking to their person. They're talking to somebody else, and a lot of people are talking to Travis. And I think that's because Travis no longer is in a relationship.
Yeah.
He, the bike riding has slowed down, so he has a lot more time on his hands, and I think people know that, and they're taking advantage of him no longer being having his person.
That makes sense. Yeah, he's available. But, Ben, as far as Warren, I think Warren's relationship with his wife is questionable.
Wait,
Okay,
no,
wait.
they just got
Okay.
back together.
Okay, but how so?
I think it's questionable because this episode specifically, she called him twice.
Yeah.
He did the first time he wasn't able to answer.
Yeah.
The second time he was asleep.
Yeah.
So for me, at that moment, where was the time where you contacted her after the incident with Emmanuel and Josh to let her know, hey, everything is good? So to me, there's a question mark there for her to be calling and he's not answering. They're foreshadowing something there. I feel Miranda is at a point where she stated she's trying to handle how dangerous his job is. But I think him being a trauma surgeon is a comfy blanket for her. She can control what he's doing. She knows that he's not at any risk.
Yep.
He's well aware of what's going on. So moving into Medic 1 is going to help the relationship, but I don't know if something's going to explode before he's able to move into that new position.
We'll see. I mean, I think that Miranda's dealing with her own issues and OCD and all of that. So I think that they're in trouble. I agree with you, but we'll see.
I hope not. They just got back together.
Yeah.
And as far as the phone call, you ever did something at work that just took a lot out of you emotionally and you just needed a minute before you even communicated with anyone? That's what I would think he needs after, just rush about saving your coworker. The woman just had a baby. The man doesn't want to go to the hospital and get his shoulder
Plus he's training, he had to get recertified, all of that
his
stuff.
day was already pretty frantic, so I don't know, maybe I would think that he just needed a minute before calling her back and then ended up falling asleep maybe.
Different.
Let's move to the incident itself. So it's Josh and Emmanuel, and Vic pulls up beside them, and it's pouring rain. I'm just gonna fast forward because we all seen it, we all knew what happened. So they get in this accident, and Vic basically is saving the day. What I thought stood out to me from the accident was how amazing Vic is under pressure. And even though she was sick, she handled herself. She handled the situation. When it was about to go sideways because Josh and Emmanuel were freaking out. She gave that little egg story and brought them back in, was able to like reel them in. And I just thought, wow, this is what I love about this character, is that even though she's like frantic as far as I'm concerned in her personal life, when it comes to business, she's all business.
Agreed. She really surprised me, especially being sick. I've often thought of Vic as just all over the place and indecisive, and here it was, she was able to keep these two frantic people focused. I thought that egg story, I didn't know where it was going at first, but I was like, aha, that was really good. And shout out to Christine Lakin, who played Emmanuel. She's someone that
I knew that was her.
Yes, I love her. She comes into my job, so it
Yes.
was nice seeing her in this role.
Aw.
And she just had a baby herself, so I'm sure this hit home for her because she just gave birth a couple months ago.
Yeah, when I was looking at the TV, I said, that's Christine from Step by Step.
Yes, that is
And I
her.
looked at her and said, it has to be her. No one looks like that.
Yes.
And I Googled it and I said, yep, I was right on the money. So yeah, she did do an excellent job.
She really did.
She brought some of that real life experience to the set.
Yes, she
That's
did.
what happened.
Yeah,
Did
she
you guys find that all those car scenes very dark though? I found that like it was a little too dark. I couldn't see like the shots very well, and I was like, "How is Vic even handling this?" Think about it. It's raining. It's dark.
I'm sure that's exactly what they were going for.
You're
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
You know, the woman's stuck in the car.
Yeah.
So, and did we think that it was gonna cause her some stress after her fire situation? That was kind of similar, being
Oh, yeah,
out in the
post-traumatic.
dark with the fire, but this time she was by herself. So I thought it was gonna be an issue for her, but she handled it really
She
well.
handled it really well. I think she just put all her stuff behind her and she's like, I'm focusing on the job. And then her team comes finally. She's like, you guys finally got here. Thank you. I got this. And they used the jaws of life and saved the day, basically.
Yes, of
And
course.
what I also wanted to say about that was Ripley's concern was all about Vic. And I just thought that was so sweet. Let's talk about Maya and Jack. So, in the beginning, Jack was a little standoffish, and I wasn't quite sure why after he opened up to her. And he already knows that she supports him because she went to therapy with him every single day and was kind of like, I have your back. And they had that conversation, not last episode, but the episode in the train. Where
Right.
You know him. So
Yes.
you already know each other, and
Yep.
you already know that you're opening up, and we're cool about it. So now all of a sudden, Jack, I get you don't know your family, and I get that you want to know because Dean's family is bringing all this stuff up, but don't take it out on her.
Also, Jack, you did this to yourself by inviting Dean's family to the
Right,
house.
you brought
so,
it on.
Yeah,
You brought it on.
But Jack, I love him, and I just want to be like, oh, Jack, please, I'm so sorry. I can't be hard on him. He's so cute.
He is
Bump
really
that.
cute. Do you like Jack and Maya together?
No,
Joshua, what?
I think it's a joke.
What? That's harsh.
What are
I
you
do.
even talking about? Okay,
Jack,
you better keep this real close. Right
I'm just saying,
We're
Jack
about to fight, and
is.
we do not have enough time to fight.
Well, Jack to me is the word that comes to mind is hubristic. He's a person where he's very proud and he has an insane amount of confidence that really paralyzes him. Anybody who tries to help him, he's immediately defensive to them. He's immediately, I don't need your help. I'm good. I'm fine. So when you look back, you know, now maybe about 5 to 6 months prior, he didn't want any help. Everyone knew he had an issue with the skyscraper incident. They were monitoring that he's not sleeping. It took Pruitt to basically challenge his old team and say, hey, I taught y'all better than this. It's like a parent telling their kids. And now you fast forward, all of a sudden Maya and Jack are together. Maybe it's just convenient, you know? So that's just me.
Y'all, he's new
To the panel.
to the panel. Yeah, exactly. No, I hear what you're saying. I don't agree with it. We're not
Okay.
going to fight about it because we want to talk about
It's all good.
Sullivan and Ripley for
Okay.
now. But we'll get back to this.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you worry. Okay, so Sullivan goes to the office, and I think he really was using an excuse to go to the office.
Okay.
And then he brought hamburgers and fries as a peace offering because he misses his best friend. And it's been a long, long time since the two of them have talked. What did you guys think of that situation? And did you think it was going to go the way it went?
Burgers bring everyone together. And so I thought that was a sweet peace offering. I think Ripley wanted an excuse to check up on Maya. I'm sorry, on Vic. And also, it was nice to see that he missed his friend. You know, sometimes you have an argument with your friend and you just miss them. And that was nice to see him just like put his pride aside and do that. And Sullivan was not making it easy for him, but he gave him some really good advice at the end to like just, you know, don't talk to me, go talk to her.
What'd you think?
I think Sullivan was on point.
Yeah.
He didn't judge his friend at all. He said, you know what? If she's worth it, do your thing.
And I thought it was so sweet that he still knew his friend, even though they hadn't talked forever.
Of course.
You know, that's true friendship. I only talked to you in years, but I still know your tells, and I still know who you are.
That's right.
It's beautiful. I think this is so beautiful. So Ryan and Jenna, I want to talk about them very quickly. So we find out that they work together. We find out that they're police officers together, and that she's the alpha. And I know that we talked about it at the top of the show. But do you think that that relationship is one that should be pursued? And do you think that it's going to last?
I think change is good for Ryan. I think it's helping him man up and helping him stand up to Andy. As far as it lasting, I think he will always have a space in his heart for Andy, and she will always be his number one. I think Jenna is going to try, and she's even seeing the signs that Andy may be an issue. So I think Andy will be an issue in their relationship later on.
Joshua?
I think Jenna is too much like Andy for their relationship to blossom.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Let's talk about Yemi and Dean. So Yemi showed up at the station house and basically spent the day. And by the sounds of it, sounds like she's going to be spending many days there, just hanging out. What did you think of their relationship? I think they have a very sweet relationship. I think Dean is very, very protective of her, but also, you know, she has him kind of wrapped around her finger, and we saw that with the peanut butter sandwich thing. Like, I'm not making you one, and then there it is.
Then he makes it.
Yeah, so sweet. What do you guys think of their relationship?
I think it's sweet to see him with his sister and be the older brother. She brings a different side to Dean that we don't normally see. I'm interested in why she's planning to spend so much time at the station, and I was wondering if she wanted to be a firefighter.
Oh, that's what happened to me. My light bulb went off. I'm with you.
She wants to follow in her big brother's footsteps.
I think she loves him that much.
Yeah.
I think she loves him that much.
Because when he talked about how I'm so different and they're treating you different, and she's like, well, no, I'm not really different. I'm just the younger sister and I'm the girl. You know, you're it, which is super true about African families. Makes no sense to me, but the male and the older male and the brother, it's a whole thing. So, yes, you do look up to your brother. So, yes, you guys, yes, very observant. Very, very observant.
She's very pretty, too. I want to point that out.
Gorgeous.
His sister is very pretty.
She's a gorgeous. And that's something else I love about Shondaland. It's just so representative of life, real life.
Yes.
I love it. Let's move on to some fire facts real quick. So you guys, I think that I might be addicted to fire facts because I have way too many. So I'm not going to do all of them today because we have tons more shows to do. But nearly 4,000 Americans die each year in house fires, and over 2,000 are severely injured. So can you imagine that? 4,000 people every single year. In only 3.5 minutes, the heat from a house fire can reach over 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah. And in rooms that are not even on fire, the temperature can reach over 300 degrees. This is hot enough to melt plastic and kill people in the house that are in those rooms. So your room may not be in flames.
Of course.
But the temperature of the flames around you in the other rooms can kill you.
Yep.
Like you're basically cooking in there.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's exactly it. That is so sad. I wanted to talk about fire extinguishers and how important they are. So do you guys know where you're supposed to keep your fire extinguisher at your house?
I think one goes under the sink in the kitchen.
Ding, 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 ding. That is correct. And then?
I got mine right.
Okay.
He's like, I got mine right.
Well, you let us know, Linda.
If you have a fireplace at your house, you're going to want to have one by the fireplace, and you should have one in your garage.
Oh, yes.
By the car, that makes
And the rule of thumb apparently is anywhere that you can make fire, you should have a fire extinguisher there.
sense. Okay.
Okay. And then this was something that I did not know, and this will be my last fire fact before we move on to news and gossip. Do you guys know why, when they fight firefights, when they fight wildfires, that it's colored water? Have you noticed that?
No.
Oh, yeah, like it's red. Yeah,
exactly.
It has chemicals in it, I believe.
Something similar.
Okay.
So water is the key ingredient of that, but the red mixture is treated with thickener and color in order to make it more like a blanket. And they color it so that the firefighters know which part of the fire they've covered and are okay to move on to. Yeah. And some of the mixture includes fertilizer and iron oxide. Iron oxide is what makes it red, and the fertilizer is to fertilize the ground so that they can
replenish.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hello. Mind blown. Love it.
Sounds like some chemists are in there.
Man, has to be, right? So those are our 5 facts. Let's move on to some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So Station 19 and their cast was all over social media this week. And so I wanted to kind of go through a few of them. So here we have the besties. And notice that I said the besties, Tsahai.
I noticed.
Because these two I think are going to be quite close. And all it says is this friendship, ... And it has Vic and Maya embracing.
Well, they're both in secret affairs, so it
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, secrets will bring you together.
Yep.
And then next up we have your friend.
Yes, Christine.
And so Barrett posted, oh man, at Yolakin and Scott Rinker, we did it. Just such an amazing scene partners and actors. So grateful we got to slay this beast together. And that was the couple that played in tonight's episode. Very, very sweet. And then the next one I love. So Maya and Jack are in this photo, and all it says is, Jack, you mad? Hilarious.
Cute self.
So cute. Next one is one that I found on Twitter, Trey Calloway. He posted, these were some really long shot nights, but thank God for propane heaters. And I think this is the area where the accident happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And
So
so,
they were doing night shoots.
yeah, and so it goes to what you were saying, how dark it was, because look at that lighting in the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
What they had to use. So, yeah. I love this photo. Paris Barkley posted, wish we could live tweet with you, but we're putting out fires elsewhere. Don't flip out when you see what happens in tonight's episode. Hashtag Station 19. And it's a black and white photo of the entire gang. And they kind of look like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they all look like
Right?
in Ghostbusters uniforms.
Yeah. I think it's so cool. Look at Boris. Boris always stands out.
Just handsome.
Right? And then I had to show the kiss because unlike Joshua, I love Maya and Jack together. And I think that they communicate well, Joshua. And I think that they're going to grow closer together, Joshua.
Just poor.
I have a TBT for you guys. And just so if you're watching us live, please be prepared because it might be a little graphic, but it was on the show, so you guys can all calm down. So the first one is a close-up of a fake hand, and it says, we love this ring of illusion makeup from ABC Station 19, and it says who's it by, and then it's painted by someone else, and it's cast by someone else, and seamed by someone else, and fabricated by someone else. And how real does that look?
Yeah, it looks good.
Very real.
I gotta tell you, the artists that make this, like, they first of all have to have like a thick skin, because that would easily make me queasy.
Just looking at it now,
Right?
I'm gross.
But you
dope.
know it's fake.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's still
still
so
so
real.
real. Yeah.
Exactly. And then if we go to the next one, it was from a scene. I think this was 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know the episode.
Yeah, the guy was a seeker. He
Yeah.
faked an accident for medication.
Yeah. So wow, eh? And I wonder how did they like stick it into his arm, into his jacket?
Yeah, Jack looks like he's holding it.
And then holding it on his thing, right?
Right,
Yeah. Next up, I thought was super cute is Ben, and he says, one of these dummies is on Station 19 tonight. Dun, dun, dun. And then next up we have the trio. So we have Ryan and we have Vic and we have Maya. And I think they're just goofing around, but I just thought it was a really cute photo. I love how they seem like they're a family on and off set.
Can we talk about how handsome Ryan looks in this picture?
Right.
Wow.
And then we have Vic and Ripley together looking like a bunch of scuba divers. And it says firefighters or scuba divers. This gear has me and Brett Tucker looking like we're about to go for a deep sea dive. Who's setting sail with us this week?
Cool.
I wonder what they were doing in this one, because they kind of do look like they're scuba diving.
We'll find out, won't we?
Right? And then again, because I love Maya and Jack together.
Linda, you are killing me.
It's Maya and Jack again. And another TBT to a previous live tweet with these two sweetums. I think they're adorable. I won't be available to live tweet with you guys tonight, she says, but here is a TBT. And look, how can you not think that's super adorable? How can you not love that, Joshua? Just look at that. I'm about to turn you over. Next, it says, want to see more of us acting like this? And it has Vic again with Maya. And she says, hang out with us on my Instagram live right after tonight's new episode. So if you guys want to head over there and see what the shenanigans were about, I'm sure you'll be able to. And I just love this because I miss milkshakes since I'm doing this contest thing. So I really did pick this photo because she was drinking a milkshake.
I'm bringing a milkshake next week.
I really wish I could have it. Fueling up before tonight's new episode. And it's a chocolate milkshake. And I miss chocolate.
I bet hers is like a protein chocolate.
You know what? I
smoothie.
bet you it is. Just in one of the
With
fancy
almond
glasses.
milk.
Yeah. Guys, that is our news and gossip. Let's move on to some predictions real quick.
Your AfterBuzz TV
Joshua, since you're our newest member, you go first.
Well, my predictions of Vic and Ripley are finally going to get together, which I'm happy about.
Yep.
And I think Andy is going to confront Maya and Jack about what's going on. I think she's going to find out.
Okay.
I think we should give Maya and Jack the name Jaya. Let's play around with that. I think things are definitely going to heat up. We're going to see them. They can't fight it anymore. They're going to still, their romance is going to definitely get hotter. I think Sullivan and Andy by next week, being that Ryan's kind of out of the picture right now, that's when we're going to see them really link up. There's going to be a kiss. I'm calling it.
Okay. I think that Travis is going to out the Jack and Andy situation because he misunderstood in this episode who Maya Maya was talking about. And so when he relayed that to Andy and Andy relayed something else and he was confused, he's going to out the wrong situation, thinking that Andy already knows because she doesn't know.
Right.
That is my prediction, guys. Linda is so girly all across social media. Please do hit me up. I love hearing from you guys, and I definitely will respond back.
Yes, I'm Joshua Wright, cleverly clad across all social media.
And I'm Tsahai, and you can find me at Say Hi Tsahai.
Guys, till next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.